This day 1674 of the Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. They are doing an Ezer, Siman Aleph, Siv Daled through Ches. Daled. Yesh Mikdash Kasu. The women, those great posting wrote. Shisha Avshem Mitzu appear Riva. Woman's not commanded to be fruitful and multiply. Come Chavis the Shabbat Yisrael. Nevertheless, she's obligated in settling the world. For any code of environmental, there's no basis for the statement. Kol Mitzvah Period Riva. The entire purpose of Mitzvah Period Riva Umi Tam Shabbat is in order to settle the world. If women are not commanded period Riva, male will not stop Shabbat Yisrael, so they're not commanded to settle the world. There's clear from the Rambam for all the places she ain't shum chiyuv mutal. There's no requirement on the women. Right? Brother says clear evidence in this. And Hashem Chazal. Then Chazal say you have niyam meisha and you chol lead if a husband is it's impediment from the husband that he cannot conceive, and he should chol kufa shigir the woman cannot force him to divorce her. Although there are ways around that. No matter the him of Keres, Hashem is going to say that she's commanded to settle the world. Why should she not be able to compel him? Famous places, and we get in that mouth about as you point in the bracket said that the woman is Chaim and Sheves. It's not that they're required to do Sheves. The Sheves, rather they have an affinity to Sheves. By Gam Kenu, it's only this is the case. Gam Haim, Mari Mishushalom, they enhance the settlement of the world. Because the the pasuk itself of the world is created for Sheves is not a commandment. It's a story which is telling us a narrative. Because Baruch created the world, that it should be settled. We should settle it. And also include in the settlement. That's what the rabbi say there. The rabbi say that a woman who's half slave and half free. They'll say that she can't marry neither a slave nor a free person. That were to she would get married and we would compel her master to release her, not to impede the settlement of the world. But since we're not sure that Shetina says she's going to get married, she's not required to get married. If we don't compel her master to release her, and that itself is a proof that she's not mandating anything. Because that's the case, we're not sure she's going to get married. She has to get married in order to fulfill Shabbos. She's not required to do Shabbos. Somebody who is through him there is an impediment in settling the world. Mosaic Rav, like this master, or he has a slave or a female who's half free. The Madrina we make an effort to see they should be able to enhance the settlement of the work. Even though there's no code requiring coming upon them. So the I guess because they're not capable of doing this point in this situation. It's a rabbi. No, that's not what it's saying. Say the Bible Misha Yod Yesh could be Shulchan Moshe Rav Sheish will ever Shulchan Chazi B'Chayin. So my children should take B'Chayin Midah B'Shul B'Shulam. If they're impeding somebody from doing Yushalam, we make sure that they do so. What's not Yod Yesh Sheish Shem Zayin. Avshem Mutachiyah B'Leim, even though there's no obligation upon them, would still require them to do so. But Zesh Kos Hashem the Shabbos Yitzara Mitzvah Rabbahi. I'm still not sure exactly where it's going with this. Arukh HaShulchan took a very controversial position here, saying that Shabbos is not shaykh to women, and where it seems to indicate that Shabbos is shaykh to women. He's trying to justify his position, but he says that it says there But Zesh Kosev Shalom Shabbos Yitzhara Mitzvah Rabbi, which sounds like it is a mitzvah, and we all do want to get them released in order to do the mitzvah Shabbos. Both the Chatzi Ev and Chatzi Baschorim and Chatzi Shura Baschorim and a Kavanah. I shouldn't say it's not a Kavanah. Shit, do mitzvah without Adam Zeh. There's mitzvah on this person. The Chatzi Ev, Chatzi Baschorim, the Chatzi Shura Baschorim, mitzvah Baschorim. The mitzvah peer review. The mitzvah is provable. We should stop allowed whoever's required to do it. It's required to do it. Time peer review. We should Shabbos but rather because peer review doesn't count them Shabbos. When Hashem wants to enhance the settlement of this world, we have a basic Rosh Hashanah equal b'dover agadol hazeh af misha lo yisav peer review. A basis is required to show to make sure there are no impediments to this, even somebody who's not required to approval. Okay, hey, Kosev B'Shittas Rabbi Chai go in Parshas Bracha, B'Zel Shana. The Shittas writes, the Chav Meis so means of Nasha, Am Yisrael is required to marry women, who they bunny and give birth to children, Miyasik, Periya, and B'Yam Pruvu, the Chsiv Kechul Nashim, Ba'alidu Bani Banos. Pasuk Yirmiyahu, they take women and give birth to sons and daughters. Let me buddy, so not just a Jew, even a non-Jew, Mifkid up here, Berivia. He's required to be fruitful and multiplied. You'll see by 10 Pruvu, Akan Lashina. Parshas Noch goes Gankin, and Parshas Noch the Shildas also writes in Mechim and Beis so the Beis so means of Nashim. Am Yisrael is required to marry women, let him be give birth to children. Can make prayer and fulfill prayer rule. Akan Shom. Look at Shan David Chom Mifkar prayer review. But there doesn't write that Goyim are required to do prayer review. Payments mitzvahs prayer review. Payments they know prayer review is not with Shem mitzvahs. Kam Chazam Furish. Chazal say explicitly. Chen Kosu Kol Beiskim. So when he writes in Zohar Bracha that the Goyim also are involved, connected to Puravu, it doesn't mean absolute obligation. It's not to the mitzvah in Parshas Zohar Bracha. He wrote it in Parshas Noach. He couldn't peer review. Therefore, he wrote in Parshas Noach to fulfill peer review. Kanko here wrote Umiyasa peer review, involved in peer review. Furthermore, the Kamaska mitzvah, the mitzvah is going to say going required to fulfill the mitzvah. Let me be called the Yom. Why bring the pasuk Yom? Below Kroy Torah, not the pasuk in Torah itself. Coming also, but it rather means Amina Shgolam. This is the custom of the world of Aratzakash Baruch Hu, and God's will be Shuva Lomo to settle His world. Kamasik Sham includes that Ami should keep period, even somebody who fulfill approval. Yisrael Shabbos Bani, we should marry a woman who can give birth to children. There's that by the Eno mitzvah Shesh Torah. There's not mitzvah say the Raisa. However, it's enhanced population of the world. So this all human beings are called. Even though there's no mitzvah on any specific individual by non-Jews, I have a class meaning no sheep, but on the totality of the human species, there is a obligation obligation, let's say a concept. To enhance the settlement of the world. Like Hashem, as is the will of Hashem. To bless Adam and Noach and his children. Brachas perivia. Brachas peravu. He's here, and then he warned them afterwards. It's telling him, by 10 peravu. This is my will. By Sunday with mitzvah and Jews specifically, this mitzvah was affixed to each and every individual Jewish male. Kind of mitzvah. The village mitzvah goes to Sabo mitzvahs. The command on all mitzvahs. Other mitzvahs kulam, but non-Jews who are not commanded all the other mitzvahs. Lo yistabu gam b'zeh, not required to do mitzvah either. She'achil b'kol echad mehem, they have an obligation each and every one of them. Al klal umma, but rather on the totality of the nation, even non-Jewish nations. The bracha of Hashem yifru be yerbu, they should be fruitful, multiply. So his bracha is asking b'shem salom, Hashem wants them to be involved in settling the world. That's why I'm received out in nashim, like we saw in terms of women. Because the Yirmi, that's a real part of Yirmi Shinabi, he Louis Yirmi mitzvos. Now he's not telling you to do mitzvahs. Some Shirabi Daim Bagolus, but rather because they became weak in their determination, saying Golus. Armani said, Shaloy never desist from sustaining the world. Shikunash, give birth to women. I would say to marry women. Give birth to women, to boys and girls. This is appropriate to say, just like Yirmi said to Amiso, should say to all human beings. Says in brackets, Parsha Shil was nidchol gubizeh. Parsha Shil has difficulty with this basket you may being brought down. Chazal say, and when the Obama Sank base, and they know B'nei Pir V'Rivan Ninu. Says B'nei Noach are B'nei Pir V'Rivan. They're have an affinity to it. Look how much should stop, not that they're commanded to do it. How much should Shachem Pir rather they are connected to it. To stay in the world. So that's the will of Hashem. And he says this is the intent of Rashi there in Yavamas. V'zeh k'moshe asa Torah says called b'chayk was time to see Simon Hay. And it's like the Torah forbade castrating any living being, even though the specific prohibition is limited for. I think it's limited to Jews, according to most opinions, but non-Jews are also, it's inappropriate for them. But avodim I think it's referring to. Avodim enim mitzuim period riva. Avodim not commanded to be fruitful. Multiply Yeshua was saying to see them mitzuim. Some of the rabbis what they are. So it's chagiga the base. Because of time the wrote the reason the puravu akul b'nei aktiv avla Canaan. Puravu is going all descendants of Achim and Canaanites, even the descendants of Canaan. Be the very means to say to Africa me seen Abel and Shar Chiv Rakli. So either Messiah or not, the actual obligation. Only the vows and Ami so Kokam Nelas Abarish Mitzvah Kisha Alain Shar Chiv. Women are chayav mitzvahs like a woman, so therefore they still have an obligation. Even though women is exempt, Zem Nation ain't a bas kibush because that's because she doesn't go out to conquer in war. Zelkin says Mila Shabbat is just like the mitzvah Mila, which even though woman is not required to do, an Eved is required to do. That's Mishamech. Zesh goes after the Canaan. That was sure that applies to Canaan. Because it says that he's supposed to be a slave for his brothers. Nevertheless. The Dad Kagol is you know there's a great principle that I feel awesome mitzvah. Even though it's only the obligation for this mitzvah purvum, when they fulfill rivya mitzvah, it's called a mitzvah that they're performing. Mitzvah gabi chover reshus karilei, and the mitzvah is often when juxtaposed in a conversation with chova, it's called reshus. For rayel is them in medicine chubash noish class and each mitzvah per rivya yosim in isha. This so there's evidence to this formulation is from the fact that it says in Tanchuma that a man is to be commanded to be more than a woman. So it sees of her. There's also a mitzvah, but she has no obligation to fulfill it. Therefore, somebody had children, he was a non-Jew. He's not commanded to period any further. You get to that even though you weren't obligated at that time, but you did fulfill the principle of the matter. Interesting idea. Okay, brackets just look at the Ran, no chance of Kushan Sanchi shame. Let's look what he says later on down Simon Lam Vav C base. Okay, Zain. I feel that she can peer review, even though you feel peer review, Yeshlo, Harbe Bunny Bonosi, has many sons and daughters. He makes the Shto Girsha, his wife died, or he divorced her, also yes, but she now be without a wife. Shemar says, it's not good for a person to be alone. It's a mitzvah d'rabbanan, kadesh lo yavoi dehur, not to come to inappropriate thoughts. Rambam and Hilchos. I feel that about social therefore, if he knows about himself that he's not capable of conceiving, owed anymore. Nevertheless, you should not remain without a wife, you should hear because of lascivious thoughts. From the fact that the post is not drawing distinctions, it sounds like there's no distinction. Even Muzakin, even his elderly, he has to marry another wife. Now, we've heard about great and good people, some in their old age. But when their wife died, they remained celibate until the day of their death. How come? Somebody could say they came in the Ein Zemin Torah, since it's not Midaraisa, Ukrad the Lo Tov Yosa Vado, and the pasuk, the invocation of the pasuk. It's not good for a man to be alone. It's only just a mnemonic device. There's not an actual direct derivation. So therefore, and the reason is account of having inappropriate thoughts. And they know themselves that they're far from these kinds of thoughts. Because of their elderliness, which is some of their weakness. Therefore, they exempt themselves with this obligation. Also he knows that it's difficult for him to have I'm not sure it means literal relations with a woman or to relate to a woman. By part is an example, so there's nothing with which to support her. That he knows that he still can conceive a child. You saw Isha Bas Banim, he should marry a woman who can have children if he is of sufficient stature to support support the children, which I guess she has already, and she will have. Chazal say marry a wife in your youth. You should get married in old age. If you Children, youth, you love money was considered to have children your old age. And it says, "Baboker is why lecha." In the morning, plant your seed. But Arab out now in the evening, do not forsake it. Do not let your hand shirk. You don't know which will be appropriate in the end. As those said, the early crop or the late crop. You think the both crops are good. Kachnim sa halacha. This is the halacha. Mekon kakos ar bein Ramah. To shisiore, the Ramah writes, if you're afraid, shim yisa isha bas banim. Um, if he marries a uh, woman who has, I'm not sure. I think it means she can have children, not that she already has children. The man's married the camp children. His existing children will get into fights with his new wife. Mutar so isha she'eda bas money can marry a a woman who cannot give birth. I'm not sure. Maybe it means the ketach will come between the children who he's going to have and his wife. Okay. Anyway, I don't know. Because afraid, a fear of a fight. You can negate the mitzvah of not leaving your hand, not shirking in old age. But does not have to do an avera. I don't know what it refers to here. Be concerned, messes Yetzirah will overcome it. I don't know what avera is referring to. This also indication of the Rambam, who writes, is kind of honest person not marry a woman who is barren or elderly or is not fertile. Relate or a woman who's too young to give birth. And can keep mitzvah period review. Let's fill the mitzvah period review. Kind of shun them. Before they care period review, so it's clear if you different fill period review. Holy Sav Sheinu relate. Now a woman who's even not suitable to give birth. This must mean Isha's not past money. Chaka bestow parakas abi shakim peer review. But the end peg writes, person filled peer review. Harei u'metulim midivrei he is chiv d'rabbanan shelo avatam firstly bus cause man sheish b'koach. It's an obligation not to desist from peer review as long as he has the strength, the capacity to do so. Shalom Moshe never shachas misoki l'bana olam. Anybody has a Jewish soul, it's as if they built a world. Kind of shono. So it's a contradiction. The Zel can hider mitzvah. So he says it's not really a mitzvah in classic sense, it's a hider mitzvah. Meaning it's something which is above and beyond and the way of the world. I mean, he's equal with davar. If there's an impediment, we don't compel him. Skeno nika is kosh konos imok. There's showing noshim as kenos. Peretz bekach. An elderly woman who, for this definition, I guess a woman you would assume not going to have children is anybody who's called ima, as an honorific, as is done with elderly women, and she's not sensitive to that. Filmak Peres even she's sensitive. Came Shakil Klaus Nosea, starting Klaus going to call Noshim, Shem Joseph, when she reaches the years where women are generally not offended, they're called ima XYZ. Havi's Kana is considered to be a Kana. Okay, that's it for today.